Okay, so the we see more problems on the Lagrange's method of undetermined multipliers. So the first question that we see over here is, we have to find the maximum value of the function xyz subject to the condition xy plus yz plus zx is equal to a, where xyz is greater than 0. So this is the given function whose maximum is to be found, and the given condition which relates the variables x, y, z together, that is this one. So we call this given surface f of xyz is equal to xyz as equation number 1, and the condition is given to be xy plus yz plus zx minus a. So this is our phi. So we call this as equation number 2. So the first task is you construct another function capital F. What is that? That is the given function plus lambda times the given surface. So this is the function, and we create this by ourselves. And here lambda, what is this? This is the corresponding Lagrange's multiplier. So once you have this function, the next task is to compute the first derivatives with respect to x, y and z. So that means you compute the derivatives. They are yz plus lambda y plus z when you differentiate it with respect to x. I hope this is clear to you now. How do you compute the partial derivatives? So you compute the first derivative with respect to x, with respect to y and with respect to z, and then you substitute it equal to 0. So that you have these three equations, equation number 3, 4 and 5. So one equation is equation 2, another are this equation 3, 4, 5. So what we have to do, we have to eliminate x, y, z, and we have to find out the values of x, y, z and lambda corresponding to these 4 equations. So what we do, we multiply equation 3 by x and equation 4 by y. So you see, here you will have xyz and here also you will have xyz. So that means you have this expression, and when you subtract them, this expression cancels with this one. So what you have, lambda times xy plus xz minus xy minus yz. So from here you can, because your z is not 0 and this is given to be positive quantity, and lambda is also not equal to 0, because if lambda is 0, so the given function capital F becomes equal to the small function small f, right? So that is not the case. So lambda is not equal to 0, the Lagrange's multiplier. So from here we only have x minus y is equal to 0. So that means you have x is equal to y when you solve this equation 3 and 4. Similarly, when you solve the equation 4 and 5, that means you multiply equation 4 by y and you multiply equation 5 by z, and then you subtract these two, you will have y is equal to z. So this is the second relation. So you have x is equal to y and y is equal to z. That means all three, they are equal. So x is equal to y is equal to z. So this is the condition that we obtained using equation number 3, 4 and 5. Now we can use this expression in the second equation, that was the given constraint equation. So from that you have x square plus x square plus x square minus a is equal to 0. So from here you calculate what is the value of x. So that comes out to be square root of a by 3 now, because all these three, they are equal. So that means this is the point. So in this case you are able to calculate the stationary point. So we say at this particular point we have the maximum or the minimum value of the given function, which we do not until yet know what is that. So at this particular point, if you substitute this point into the given function small f, so you have the given function was x, y, z. So you substitute the value of x, the value of y and the value of z, and this is the extreme value. Now you have to know what is this, whether this is the maximum value or this is the minimum value. So for that, what we are doing, that is the task, next task. So firstly we are calculating what would be lambda. So for lambda, we are substituting the values of x, y, z into the equation number 3. So from there you obtain what is the value of lambda. Now in order to check for maxima or minima, that means whether this quantity is a maximum or a minimum value, what do? You compute the double derivatives. So you compute double derivative with respect to x, with respect to y, with respect to z, and then the mixed derivatives. That means you compute f of yz, f of zx, and f of zy. So when you compute all these values, you substitute, you calculate all these values at the given point also. Now you will check for the signs of a. What was a? A is the double derivative with respect to f of capital F. So this is equal to 0. So that means this is neither positive nor negative. So you cannot have any idea using the determinant methods. For the determinant method, you go and check for a, and then you go and check for this a, h, h, g, right? Something like that. And then you go and look for this third order derivative. But here, because a is non-zero, so you cannot proceed further. So for the given situation, what we can do, we can go and calculate d to f. And we know the formula for d to f. d to f is this whole quantity. Because we know all these values, so we can substitute their values, right? So we have this expression. And when you simplify this, you have equation number 6. Now, in order to check or determine whether we have a maximum or a minimum value, we'll find out the sign for d to f. For calculating the sign of d to f, whether we'll make them into perfect square so that they are always positive, or we'll have some negative sign over here so that it is always negative, right? So for that, what we are doing, we are using the constraint equation. So this is the constraint equation. We are taking its derivative. So its derivative comes out to be this. And we are taking its derivative at the point square root of a by 3, square root of a by 3, and square root of a by 3. So it comes out to be dx plus dy plus dz as equal to 0. So from here we can compute what is dz. dz comes out to be minus dx plus dy. So we can substitute this value in our equation number 6. So what is equation 6? The expression for d to f. So here you can substitute the value of dz, which is minus of dx plus dy. So once you substitute the value, the next task is to simplify that expression so that we have square of the given terms. So once you substitute the value, you have this quantity. Just a second. So you have this quantity, right? Now what we are trying to do, we can open up this bracket. So it is this one, and then we can compute these two terms. So that would be 1 dx dy, right? And then we can make a complete square here. dy square, that is a complete square. So out of this term and this term, we can make complete square. How can we do that? This is the mixed term. So we divide this mixed term by 2 and we take the square of that and we add the square of that and we subtract the square of that quantity. So that is why you have this quantity, and this quantity as this term, first term, and you have this dy square term and this term. So this is equal to this term. So now you see in the bracket we have only the positive terms, because these are the squares of some quantities which is always going to be positive. So we also have a negative sign here. So the sign of d to f, that is going to be determined by this negative sign, which says that this d to f is always going to be a negative quantity. So that is why we say at this point the attained value, the extreme value, that is a maximum value, and the value was 1 by 3 root 3 a to the power 3 by